All right, the jury that found Carlos Kennedy guilty in the beating death of Zoa White has now recommended that he be put to death.
Fox News reporter Steve Alexander was in the courtroom when the decision was announced. He joins us live in the newsroom. Steve?
Now, jurors didn't reach a unanimous verdict in the penalty phase, but they didn't have to. The jury deliberated less than 2 hours before announcing it recommended Carlos Kennedy be put to death. The vote was 11-1. Kennedy showed no emotion when the verdict was read.
Now I can express my feelings, and now I'm angry.
Afterward, Zoa White's daughter, LAURIE Miller, spoke to reporters.
I don't hate, but I have sat every day that this man was in this courtroom. I was in this courtroom with him. I have watched him repeatedly. I have waited for some emotion or some explanation as to why his blood was on my mother and in her house, and there has been none given. I waited for some answer that will never come. I accept that now.
Kennedy's father also spoke briefly.
I agree with my son, like what he said. He's not guilty. I don't believe he's guilty.
District Attorney Ashley Rich said this was an emotional trial for her because she went to school with LAURIE Miller.
The day that I got the call that they had found her body was the most difficult day because I get those calls all the time, but it had never been someone that I knew personally. So it was very difficult to go to that scene and see my good friend there that I had played in elementary school with and gone to school with.
When asked about the penalty Kennedy received, if this was the outcome she wanted, LAURIE Miller said,
I think justice has been served.
Now, Judge Joseph Johnston is actually the one who will decide whether or not Kennedy will face the death penalty. He can still overrule what the jury did and make the decision himself. Now, he will announce that decision on June 17th at a court hearing. Coming up at 5 o'clock, we're going to talk to the defense attorneys and also Prosecutor Jo Beth Murphy. Reporting live from the newsroom, Steve Alexander, Fox 10 News.
All right, thank you, Steve. We'll see those reports coming up at 5.